We got Jake here. We're in Austin, Texas. Jake is here for Mr. Cameraman's wedding. Camera Cam.
Yep.
I had to pester Jake to jump on a little 10-15 minute interview because he's been in high ticket for 2 years now. After his boy, Cam, got him in, went through our community and just wanted to run a little chat, talk about the experience, talk about getting in, working up. Now you're doing pretty well. Been on the same offer for like 2 years.
Yep.
So talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. That's how we do it. So guys, before we get into this interview any further with Jake, I'm here to tell you that what you're going to hear in this interview is not normal. It's not expected. It's not guaranteed. Anybody who guarantees you any kind of results like this, they're probably not going to be in business a year from now. We can't apply to jobs for people. We can't work the jobs for people, and we can't put money in anybody's bank account. But what we can do is provide the foundation, like Jake used, to be in a position to assume the upside. So these results are not indicative of results that you might get, but they are indicative of results that are possible should you have the right experience, drive, and exposure to opportunity in the high ticket space. So now back into it with Jake. Let's start here, man. You're here out of Minnesota. What were you doing before you got into this world?
I was in corporate sales, so door to door. I was selling industrial vacuums, combustible stuff. Absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
Because I traveled pretty much every week, every day of the week. Just kind of got tiresome. And then obviously I found serial sale community. I actually introduced Cam to it prior.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Introduced it prior. I was like, dude, maybe you should look into it. And then he ended up getting into the serial sale community, absolutely loving it, getting an offer, started making a bunch of money. I'm like, dude, why the fuck did I not get into it sooner the first time? But yeah, that's what I was doing prior.
Dude, we've had maybe like 2 or 3, maybe 4 sets of like friends that like one of us finds us, the other one jumps in, and then the other's like not far behind. That's pretty funny. Were you like straight out of school in that sales role?
Yeah, yep, right out of college. I got into it because one of my buddies was working there prior.
Did you know that sales was like what you were going to do after school?
Pretty much, yeah, because I graduated with a marketing degree. I realized that marketers don't really get paid a whole lot of money until they're like 10, 15 years into it, and I wasn't willing to settle for $45,000, $50,000.
Yeah.
So
were you doing good, like income-wise, at that job right out of school?
Yeah, I can share exactly how much I was making. It was like $80,000 for that.
That's good, out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was for you, I mean, you probably scrolled on Instagram or YouTube, you found this dude talking about remote sales or whatever, but like, what did you not like about the other job that was like pushing you in this direction?
I think it was the ability, or not the ability, but the being capped at a certain amount, but still working as many hours as they wanted me to. Because there was days where they say it's 9 to 5, but it's really not 9 to 5 at that point. Because I was essentially salaried with a structured commission. And I mean, there's days where I was working 9 p.m. at night, just hauling stuff, and I wasn't getting paid any extra. So it's like, if I'm going to put in the work or work for this company, I want to be kind of reflective of how much time I'm actually putting in.
Yeah. Do you remember if there was like a certain moment where you like snapped? Because you told Cam jumped in, you see him doing well, but was there like a feather that broke the back in terms of you like being like, okay, dude, I'm going to do this now?
Yeah, I was actually planning a trip to Chicago, and this is kind of going back to like just working more than I was actually valued at, where I was getting back, it was super late and I had to head out. And the following week, my boss gives me a call and just absolutely lights me up. I'm like, dude, it's 9 o'clock at night. Like, why are you dictating whether or not I can go do what I want to do? And I see Cam, I mean, he's working hard, like working long hours, but he's also getting paid for what he's doing. So I'm like, everybody thinks internet money is a scam. Or like your parents will say, like, it's just not reality. Like, you need to go get a job, but that's not true. Like, you can make a crap load of money doing this. So I think that's kind of what seeing Cam do well and work all these cool jobs and meet these new people. It's like, I'm not getting anywhere with a corporate job.
Had you been kind of interested in the internet money like through college and coming up?
Yeah.
Like, did you try any other like drop shipping, agency, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I tried drop shipping. I don't know if
it starts, man.
I guess I'm just not technologically advanced, because it looks simple, but it seemed like there was too many hoops to jump through. So yeah, I started with drop shipping.
I failed drop shipping as well, and agency, and a lot of the copywriting. Like, they all work, but I either didn't do enough, I didn't know enough, I didn't try hard enough, like whatever. All right, guys, I've told you about it once. I've told you about it twice. I'm going to tell you about it again. We've got our TSSC Success Query bot. So we've taken all of these interviews that we filmed and we've condensed them down into a pretty easy to use chatbot like this. You can ask it any question and it's going to go and search over 25 hours of interviews and give you something that's actually useful, not some AI generated slop, stuff that has been said directly by people who have made more than $10,000 in a month with this. Example question here. Give me 5 tips that will help me transition out of my tech sales role and into a remote closing role. And it's going to take some time because it's actually going through and reading the transcripts and the summaries of these interviews. And here we go. So it's spitting out actual results here from Diaven, who's still in tech sales, Dalton, who was in tech sales, Jared, who's still in tech sales, Franklin, and it's going to link the interviews here too. So let's say you have no sales experience. Well, let me just change this. Now change this for me if I have no sales experience. Assume I'm a beginner. You could even go and take an offer that you received, drop it in here, and it will tell you what it thinks of it. If you guys want this, go down to the second link in the description. You can get it for free. We're always going to continue updating it with all these interviews that we do. And there's really just not a better resource for you to speak to people who have done this following our process. If you watch our content, you're going to want to have this. It's free. Go down below, second link, grab it. Now back to the interview. All right, dude. So you get into, actually, you find out this remote sales thing is like actually happening for people. Why did you decide to jump into like the community that we run? Obviously it's not free, it's not cheap versus like trying to go and do it on your own.
Yeah, I think it was just like you and like everybody else I was surrounding, because you had Jake, who I had my consultation with, and I just pretty much knew right at that conversation, like it was actually real. Like there were genuine people back there that wanted to support you in your growth and get you an opportunity. And he was actually the first person to get me on the role that I've been in for the last 2 years. Yeah. Where that connection, it's like my whole thought process was like, this could be a scam, but I was willing to spend the money just to see it. But I mean, it couldn't be more far from the truth than kind of what it's paid tenfold in. Yeah. So it's like, it certainly was like you guys that have the backing in terms of your kind of behavior. You definitely hit a couple ROIs on the community absolutely. Membership to absolutely. Where you are now. Yeah, dude. So coming in, like you said, that was your first offer. You started it as a setter, same team, but you're now a closer. Yep. What was it like for you going from like the job right out of school to selling in this new industry as a setter, which is an entry level role, but you already had some experience. So like, what was that experience like starting in this industry and kind of building up from there? It was drastically different. I knew that like the corporate environment in terms of like sales knowledge and skill was, I would say, worse in terms of like comparison to remote sales. So it was definitely a transition in terms of like what I needed to talk about, what I need to learn, how to actually carry a conversation to the end and setting that appointment. So it was a little bit of a difference, but it certainly helps if you're good at talking to people. Yeah, dude. And now you've in that time been on the same team, which is pretty rare in this space for a few different reasons, but being on a team for 2 years in this space is a pretty good feat. And you went from setter, you went on some other teams part-time and you were able to manage that. And now you're just closing here full-time on that offer. What was it like for you going from setter and like trying to push up into better roles or into closing? Like, was that a hard thing? Was it kind of handed to you? Like, what was that like? It was kind of a very easy transition actually, because a lot of the setting calls after I got really good at it, I just started kind of pre-closing before even handing off to the closers. So in terms of feedback from the person that was above me, they're like, that was like super easy. So I just started taking it upon myself of how can I get this person as closest to the buying pocket as I possibly can to then allow it for better transition as I am in closer. So it was inevitable for me to get in a closer spot because they're like, we can't waste this guy's talent in terms of just being a setter. I mean, that's one of the better scenarios, man. Some people stay as a setter in a company. It's like they want to move up, but there's no room, or these people don't want to train them, or like for one reason or another, they just end up staying stuck as a setter and then they're forced to go like find it somewhere else. Right. You have stacked, I don't know how many offers you kind of worked on between, but in your time at this company for the last 2 years, you've done some side stuff, talked about 500 dials a day. Yep. What was the idea there? Was it like, hey, I have more time and I want to put it to work, or like what were you shooting for with that? Just trying to stack more cash, honestly. I was chasing the bag, and I could tell that like, yeah, you're splitting your time between two opportunities and you're still making money, but at some point, like you're going to max out kind of what you got. So In terms of doing multiple offers, I think the most I ever done was 3 at one time.
That's a lot, dude.
Which in the grand scheme, it was manageable, but in terms of like mental capacity and actually wanting to wake up each day and do that, it just wasn't worth it.
All the context switching is hard.
Yeah.
Like all the software, the teams, the chats, the calendars, all that stuff. Like I find that the guys who go and do the biggest results for the longest, like most sustained time, they're just on one good offer usually. And they build that momentum of like the pipeline and the reputation, what we were talking about earlier. Cool, dude. Do you remember we were just talking about it just before we started recording, but the process that we went through, I think it was pretty quick for you to get on that first offer. But in terms of like the work that we did to like prep you for this industry, like, you know, I don't know if we were running the same call structure, but we had like roadmap call, market positioning, we did the resume, talked about looms, all that. Do you remember much of that?
A little bit. I know that we had a pretty extensive conversation in terms of like the resume side of things.
Yeah.
And structuring that out and like getting that built. That's pretty much the one thing that I do remember that helped me the most in terms of how it differs from corporate environment where like it's just words on a paper for corporate, but like for actual remote sales, it's what have you done?
Yeah. No, now I'm thinking about it, dude. Your experience was a little bit different because we had posted that we were doing recruiting back then and you just happened to be the guy for the job. Like how fast from joining the community to being on that role was it?
I think it was 2 weeks, maybe a month. It was a very quick transition from corporate then to remote sales.
No, dude, and it worked out. It's funny too, because like we haven't spoken in a while. And I heard you were in town, so I was like, I heard you were in town and doing well, so I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna shoot my shot with the interview. Well, that's cool, dude. It's like people kind of go out, like you don't really have any reason, unless you just wanted to hang out, like you don't have any reason to be in the community every day or whatever. You're doing the thing, so it's like, spend your time doing that. Speaking of doing the thing, so tell us about like your day-to-day right now. You're earning pretty, like we were talking pretty consistently, definitely rivaling what you were making just out of college.
Yeah.
What's like the schedule looking like? How many hours are you putting in? You mentioned you do travel a little bit, which is a little unique to your role, but yeah, what's it looking like?
Yeah, so I start pretty much every day at around 7:30. I have my calendar opened up 7:30 to 6:30 p.m. And that's pretty much just scheduled calls. I usually take calls probably until like 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So in terms of scheduled calls, I'll have anywhere from 3, 5, all the way up to 12 calls in a day with kind of some slotted calls that just pop up randomly. But I'm usually pretty available a majority of every single day, which is good and bad, but I like it because that means money's in my pocket.
Yeah, that's the thing with a good sales job versus the one you were in right out of college. It's like, you don't have, I mean, maybe you do, depending on the role, maybe they do require you to be open that much, but like you actually want to because you're making more money. And it's like, dude, as a young, able-bodied male that's not going to war, like what else am I supposed to be doing?
No, exactly.
So how old are you again?
26.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's like, this is the time to stack and grind appointments, dude. All right, so you're doing this. You've been on this team. How long have you been closing there?
6, 7 months probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty like in the routine. When you look at like your life outside of sales, now, you know, you're pretty established in that company as a closer. What's that looking like? Like, are you, in terms of enjoying the fruits of your labor, like have you been able, I mean, you're in Austin right now, but have you been able to do any cool stuff that, you know, you think happened because you figured this space out?
Yeah, the ability to travel and, I mean, go golf on a Friday in the afternoon, take random trips to Chicago whenever I want to, or go do fun festivals. I haven't yet gone out of the country quite yet. That's next up on the docket. But yeah, I mean, it just affords me the ability to do things that all my other buddies that are working corporate jobs can't do. Yeah. And that's build my life how I want to.
You're talking about a potential move here soon too. That's one cool thing. I mean, Austin is a hub for just salespeople, dude. There's salespeople of all kinds. There's a lot of high ticket people, but there's a lot of insurance, tech, freaking door to doors, just like hungry, you know, young, hungry dudes, just good people to be around. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover, dude. I mean, 2 years down the road, ROI positive, at least a couple times over, enjoying it, doing well. I mean, you're building a resume that nobody can take away from you at the end of the day as well. Hopefully saving some money too.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope you're saving some money. What's that?
Asking about all-time sales.
All-time sales? Yeah, what's that?
This month will be $1 million.
Okay, there you go. Closing or setting and closing?
Setting and closing. Well, mostly closing, obviously, but.
Hell yeah, dude. It's a good question. Thanks for the prompt, man. Yeah. To kind of wrap it up, man, if someone's watching this and they're in your shoes back 2 years ago, it's like in this post-college kind of dead-end sales job, and they're looking at this space. I mean, you said it earlier. Everyone, until you're doing the online money thing, it's like it's not real or tangible. But what would you say to that person who's like on the fence where you were 2 years ago?
Right. I would say, I mean, like, what do you got to lose, right? I mean, you can certainly go back to a corporate job. Absolutely. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. But getting into a space where people are actually building something of sustenance for their own life and then transition that into your life, I mean, that's going to pay you tenfold with whatever you get into. I mean, I certainly don't want to be in sales for the rest of my life, but I'm connected with people that are also other aspects, where the reason I also left corporate sales is because I noticed a lot of people that were in there for 30 years were in the same spot that they were when they started. So it's like, I want to see exponential growth with the people I'm surrounded with. So if whoever's viewing this is on the fence, I mean, certainly take that leap and just do it, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to run into. I certainly didn't know that me and Dylan were going to have this conversation, but that's just the connections that you build throughout this internet money.
Yeah. It's crazy too, man. Like, I just had a wedding last week, and some of the guys there that I met through this, like guys that live here with us, are just like some of the boys now. And we met because I was the guy online talking about sales. They get sales jobs, move down here, whatever. And it's just like, now they're just the boys. So last thing that I think is unique to you that I want to ask is, a lot of people come into this space as kind of like a launch pad into business ownership, into something that's bigger than taking sales calls, right? You're kind of at that point now where you're doing good, but you have your eyes open to other opportunities, using the skill set that you have to like build something bigger than yourself. When did you get to the realization that you were interested, or like you were ready for that you were interested in that? And then, I don't know, can you just talk about that a little bit? Like your progression using high ticket as a stepping stone to build your own thing.
Yeah, I'd say it's something that certainly started in college, but as I got into the remote space, you see all these people that are doing very well, and it's not just that they're taking paychecks and then messing around with it. Like, they're actively working towards something, not just sales, but whether it be real estate, building a company, or whatever they're doing. I think that natural transition probably happened a year ago of just seeing kind of the amount of money that you can make in this space, and then what else do you need to be doing to set up the rest of your life.
Yeah, you could take closing calls and have an awesome life, but a lot of the people that end up in commission-based 1099 sales are the type that are going to build a business. It's a high-paid internship. So I like to highlight that, because we've had a lot of people come through the community, get their stride, like start crushing 10K months, stack some money, stack some skill, meet some people, and then it's like, oh, I'm just going to start this business now. And then they go and make way more. So pro of being in this space. I mean, I think if you're in the online sales and marketing space, you learn so much, dude. Like, not as like a W-2 post-college employee at some mega corporation, but like, you know, your team is pretty lean, and just being in that environment, dude, it's the right spot for a go-getter. Right. So, all right, dude, I held you long enough. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
And if you guys want to meet people like Jake, driven dudes taking sales calls from wherever in the world, join our community. First link below.